Stay informed about the latest developments in cryptocurrency, politics, technology, and beyond with Newssource Scrollers edition covering the period from July 16, 2025 to July 23, 2025.
The Kremlin has stated that President Putin is willing to consider peace with Ukraine only once Russia has accomplished its objectives. The Institute for the Study of War, ISW, reports that Russia is producing Iranian Shahid drones at such a rapid pace that it might soon be capable of deploying 2,000 drones in just one night. In Ukraine, there are ongoing protests following President Zelensky's signing of a bill that limits the powers of anti-corruption agencies. A Malaysian court has temporarily halted a civil lawsuit filed by Muhammad Yusuf against Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, accusing him of sexual misconduct that allegedly occurred 4 years ago. In the United States, a well-known Ecuadorian drug lord named Fido has entered a plea of not guilty in a federal court. In Italy, prosecutors are pursuing the arrest of the Coima boss and several others as part of an investigation into property planning activities in Milan. The South China Morning Post indicates that Donald Trump and Xi Jinping are expected to have a meeting either before or during the APEC summit scheduled to take place in South Korea. The United States military is reportedly planning to conduct Reaper drone operations in proximity to China and North Korea. Furthermore, the president has informed European lawmakers that both Taiwan and the European Union are confronted with the dangers of external infiltration.
A video featuring an AI-generated flood at a Seoul palace highlights the growing issue of deepfakes in South Korea. 17 people have lost their lives in the country due to severe rainstorms that led to landslides and flooding. Cloudflare has begun blocking websites that host pirated content for users in the UK. Furthermore, the U.S. Nuclear Weapons Agency has been compromised in a hack involving Microsoft SharePoint, with both Google and Microsoft reporting that Chinese hackers are taking advantage of a zero-day vulnerability in SharePoint.
Israel is preparing to attack the final town in Gaza as discussions for a truce have come to a halt. The White House has revealed that Donald Trump expressed opposition to Israeli military actions in Syria. The Pope has made a plea for the cessation of the violence and suffering in Gaza.
Researchers in China have achieved the successful cloning of a yak. Physicists at CERN have announced their initial findings on the imbalance between matter and antimatter in subatomic particles. A startup company claims it plans to utilize nuclear fusion technology to transform mercury into gold.
China has demolished 300 dams and closed hydropower facilities to protect the habitat of the Yangtze River. In Athens, efforts are underway to restore a 2,000-year-old Roman aqueduct to supply water to the city due to ongoing droughts. An international group has issued a warning that Kabul might face a water shortage by the year 2030.
Felix Baumgartner, known for his historic jump from the edge of space, has tragically passed away in a paragliding accident. Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary musician, has died at the age of 76, shortly after performing in the final Black Sabbath show in the UK. A rare opportunity for Star Wars enthusiasts is on the horizon as Darth Vader's primary lightsaber is set to be auctioned. The WNBA All-Stars, united in their cause, don shirts with the bold message "Pay us what you owe us." Meanwhile, the New York Times highlighted a story where major law firms, initially intimidated by Trump, were replaced by a group of smaller firms who courageously took on the challenge. Oxfam reported that the wealthiest 4 individuals in Africa possess more wealth than the entire bottom half of the continent's population. Putin has given the green light for the development of a state-run messaging application aimed at countering the influence of WhatsApp and Telegram, as Russia prepares to eliminate WhatsApp as part of its efforts to assert digital sovereignty. Additionally, Russia and Belarus have introduced a censored patriotic AI designed to compete with Western counterparts. Furthermore, a new Russian law has been enacted that makes it illegal to conduct online searches for content that is considered controversial.
Microsoft has decided to cease employing engineers based in China for providing technical support related to U.S. military technology. In a separate development, France has apprehended a Russian basketball player at the behest of the United States, citing charges of hacking. Reuters has disclosed that Trump's Golden Dome is currently exploring options beyond SpaceX, which is owned by Elon Musk, for its future endeavors.
Research indicates that the movement of ships can cause methane to be released from the ocean floor. The BRICS countries are urging affluent nations to provide financial support for the worldwide shift towards a more sustainable climate. According to the Financial Times, the European Union is delaying the signing of a climate action agreement with China. Mercedes-Benz is introducing the capability to utilize an in-car camera for Microsoft Teams meetings during drives. Tesla is enhancing its vehicle lineup by integrating Grok AI with the 2025.26 software update. Renault is aiming to increase its production in India by focusing on more SUVs and expanding exports.
Claude has introduced a financial analysis solution specifically designed for investment firms. According to a Reuters report, OpenAI is planning to launch a web browser, aiming to compete with Google Chrome. America's largest power grid is facing challenges in meeting the increasing demand generated by artificial intelligence. According to a report by The Conversation, our latest study suggests that the improvement in air quality in East Asia might have contributed to the recent increase in the rate of global warming. Scientists have observed a significant thawing in Svalbard, marking a dramatic point in the Arctic winter. Furthermore, a study indicates that the melting of glaciers could potentially lead to volcanic eruptions occurring worldwide.
Recent research indicates that student loan debt might not discourage civic participation. Instead, it could potentially motivate it. Cornell University has released findings suggesting that conspiracy theorists are often unaware that their views are considered extreme. A study has been reported that claims the pandemic has accelerated brain aging, affecting individuals regardless of whether they contracted COVID-19.
Users of Reddit in the United Kingdom are now required to demonstrate that they are at least 18 years old in order to access adult content. 5 countries within the European Union are set to experiment with an age verification application aimed at safeguarding children. In the United States, the military has announced that it will continuously oversee bathrooms to adhere to an anti-transgender directive.
In the United States, a recent national survey has discovered that almost 3/4 of teenagers have engaged with AI companions. A hybrid model study indicates that individuals tend to behave less rationally when participating in complex games, whereas their actions become more predictable in simpler games. Furthermore, a study conducted by Stanford University has revealed that AI therapy bots can exacerbate delusions and provide hazardous advice.
The Trump administration has made public FBI documents related to Martin Luther King Jr., even though his family expressed their disapproval. Trump shared a fabricated video depicting Obama being arrested. Hunter Biden claimed that his father, Joe, was under the influence of Ambien during the poorly received 2024 debate with Trump. France is conducting an investigation into X regarding allegations of foreign interference. A member of parliament has expressed criticism towards Grok. X has strongly criticized the French criminal investigation, which claims to involve manipulation of algorithms. In other news, the White House is in the process of preparing an executive order aimed at addressing what it refers to as woke AI. Furthermore, the UK is considering retracting its request for backdoor access to the encrypted data of Apple users.
The Wall Street Journal has announced that the FDA has given the green light to Juul's e-cigarettes, following a ban that nearly drove the company to bankruptcy. Coca-Cola is set to introduce a cane sugar soda this fall, a move prompted by a request from former President Trump. In the United States, the Environmental Protection Agency is reportedly working on a plan that would limit its capacity to combat climate change.
A teenage girl who lived 6,200 years ago and had a cone-shaped skull was discovered in Iran. The renowned fairy tale castles of Bavaria's King Ludwig II, including Neuschwanstein Castle, have been recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The United States has once more exited UNESCO, pointing to perceived anti-Israel bias and involvement in woke issues. In the United States, Senator Marco Rubio has taken the step of revoking the visas of a Brazilian judge and several associates in response to the ongoing prosecution of former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. This action comes as Bolsonaro himself has been mandated to wear an ankle monitor following a police raid. A State Department official has warned that expressing criticism of Israel could potentially result in visa revocations. The Pentagon has issued an order for 700 Marines to be withdrawn from Los Angeles, as the city regains stability after a series of protests involving Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. A group of 100 BBC insiders has written a letter accusing the UK broadcaster of acting as a public relations tool for Israel. Notable figures such as Miriam Margolyes and Charles Dance have signed the letter. Riyad Mansour, the Palestinian ambassador to the UN, has compared the current situation to the early stages of South Africa's struggle, noting that initially, not many people offered support. In the United States, Columbia University has taken action against students involved in an anti-Israel riot that resulted in a violent takeover of a library, issuing suspensions and expulsions to several students.
India has achieved a significant milestone by reaching 50% of its power generation from non-fossil sources, surpassing its target for clean energy by 2030. Ember Energy has reported that solar energy has become the primary power source in the European Union for the first time in history. The United Nations has approved a motion on climate change following the Marshall Islands' decision to shift its focus away from fossil fuels. In India, Airtel has collaborated with Perplexity to provide Perplexity Pro to each of its 360 million customers. Microsoft, OpenAI, and a U.S. teachers union are working together on a strategy to integrate AI into educational settings. An AI robot, trained using surgery videos, successfully performed a gallbladder operation without any human assistance.
A filing by the Department of Justice indicates that executives from MoonPay might have transferred $250,000 to a scammer based in Nigeria. The government of the United Kingdom is planning to prohibit public organizations from making ransom payments to hackers. Furthermore, the Federal Bureau of Investigation has concluded its investigation into Jesse Powell, the founder of Kraken, regarding claims of hacking into non-profit accounts.
Top Bay Area eateries are scrutinizing your social media profiles before you even set foot inside. In Florida, robo-bunnies have emerged as the latest tool in combating the spread of invasive Burmese pythons. Individuals can be identified using a distinctive fingerprint, derived from the way their bodies interfere with Wi-Fi signals.
YouTube has eliminated a vast number of propaganda channels associated with countries like China, Russia, and others. In a related development, Iranians have been subjected to spyware attacks as tensions rise in anticipation of a potential conflict with Israel. Meta has taken action by deleting 10 million Facebook profiles in an ongoing campaign to reduce spam.
The United Kingdom has decided to proceed with the sale of Typhoon fighter jets to Turkey following Germany's decision to lift its previous veto on the deal. In a significant development in space technology, Chinese satellites have successfully completed their initial high-altitude rendezvous, marking a potential breakthrough in the field of refueling in space. Iran has officially confirmed that it is engaging in nuclear negotiations with European nations, marking the first such talks since the recent military strikes by the United States. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Iran is taking steps to rearm its militia allies.
Restaurants and bars are contemplating shutting off music due to the rapid increase in licensing fees. An AI-created band has achieved 1 million plays on Spotify, prompting music industry experts to suggest that listeners should be informed. Netflix has announced that half of its worldwide users are now watching anime and has unveiled an expanded lineup. McDonald's AI tool for hiring had a password as simple as 123456, which led to the exposure of personal data for 64 million job applicants. Spotify released songs created by AI, featuring the voices of deceased artists, without obtaining any prior permission. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, has raised concerns about a potential crisis involving AI-generated voice fraud within the banking sector.
Trump instructed Pam Bondi to obtain the release of relevant documents from the Epstein grand jury. Trump threatened legal measures to prevent the Wall Street Journal from publishing an embarrassing story about Jeffrey Epstein, and he filed a $10 billion lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch concerning a Wall Street Journal article about an Epstein birthday letter. The Wall Street Journal reported that Jeffrey Epstein's acquaintances sent him risque letters for a 50th birthday album, with one being from Donald Trump.
The United States is indicating a plan to reconsider the current system for the H-1B visa lottery. Under President Trump's administration, the Labor Department has put forth over 60 proposed rule modifications aimed at reducing workplace regulations. Furthermore, President Donald J. Trump has introduced a new category of federal employees, known as Schedule G employees, which are non-career, policy-focused positions designed to better serve the American public. The United States is set to implement a significant anti-dumping tariff of 93.5% on battery materials originating from China. MP Materials and Apple have declared a joint venture worth $500 million aimed at manufacturing recycled rare earth magnets within the United States. Former President Trump has eased restrictions on chip exports to China, allowing AMD to begin selling its MI308 AI chips in the country once licenses are granted. This move follows NVIDIA's announcement of plans to resume sales of its H20 chips in China, with the U.S. government having assured the company of license approvals and deliveries expected to commence shortly.
Individuals planning to visit the United States will now be required to pay an additional $250 fee, which is designated as a visa integrity fee. In other news, India is set to grant its first tourist visas to Chinese citizens in a span of 5 years. Officials from the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic committees have decided to exclude transgender women from participating in the women's sports categories at the Olympic Games.
The Trump administration has provided the personal information of Medicaid recipients, such as their addresses, to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. In the United Kingdom, Nigel Farage has proposed deporting violent criminals to El Salvador as part of a broader crime-fighting initiative. In Japan, the far-right Sansito Party, advocating for a Japanese-first stance, has become the fourth-largest opposition group in parliament, gaining prominence with its strong immigration policies amid the government's loss of control in the upper house. SpaceX has cautioned its investors that Elon Musk might re-enter the realm of United States politics. Donald Trump has intensified his accusations against Barack Obama, labeling him a traitor in the ongoing conflict regarding the 2016 Russia investigation. Trump further asserts that Obama should be the primary focus of the Department of Justice's inquiry into the intelligence report. In the United States, the Republican Party has halted proceedings on the House floor to prevent a vote on Jeffrey Epstein, while the Deputy Attorney General is scheduled to meet with Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell.
The head of the Hong Kong Monetary Authority has cautioned against overenthusiasm regarding stablecoins. Donald Trump has pledged to transform the United States into the global leader in cryptocurrency by signing the Genius Act into law, which includes stablecoin regulations, as the crypto sector seeks broader acceptance. Gallup has reported that cryptocurrency continues to have limited appeal among average Americans. In response to changing regulations in Hong Kong and the U.S., Citigroup is considering exploring stablecoins.
Emirates, the Dubai-based airline, is adopting digital currencies and the metaverse as strategies to draw on new customers. Telegram has launched its cryptocurrency wallet, making it available to its 87 million users in the United States. The CEO of Western Union has announced intentions to incorporate stablecoin into the company's digital wallet.
OpenAI reports that ChatGPT users generate more than 2.5 billion prompts daily. Pew Research reveals that Google users tend to click on links less frequently when an AI-generated summary is displayed in the search results. Google achieves a significant victory by winning gold at a global math competition, with OpenAI also securing a win.
following a meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte. Trade discussions between the two nations resulted in a limited adjustment to tariffs. Trump also declared a trade agreement with the Philippines and outlined the conditions of a deal with Indonesia. Trump described a massive trade deal involving 15% reciprocal tariffs on Japanese products, prompting Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba to express the need for a thorough review of the details. Taiwan has announced that a trade delegation is in Washington to engage in discussions regarding a possible tariff and trade agreement.
The quality of scientific papers is being scrutinized as academics feel inundated by the vast number of publications. Meta's CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, has committed to investing hundreds of billions in AI data centers as part of a drive towards superintelligence. A study has revealed that AI can hinder the productivity of some seasoned software developers.
Number 1 hit and more. YouTube Music Charts, Global Top Songs for the week of July 11th, July 17th, 2025. Jump by Blackpink. Golden featuring HUNTR/X, EJAE, and Juhi. Soda Pop by Saja Boys, Andrew Choi, and Nekwav. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars.
Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, July 11th to Thursday, July 17th, 2025, features the following tracks: Jump by Blackpink, Golden by HUNTR/X, EJA, Audrey Nuna, RAMI, and the K-pop Demon Hunters cast, Daisies by Justin Bieber, and Back to Friends by Somber.
Steam's most popular games, featuring the leading titles in sales and player engagement on the platform. Based on the revenue rankings of the top 100 products, for the period from Tuesday, July 15, 2025, to Tuesday, July 22, 2025. Counter-Strike 2 PUBG, Battlegrounds Destiny 2 Amusem, Pretty Derby.
CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. A joint advisory has been released to provide guidance on safeguarding systems against the Interlock ransomware threat. CISA has included a newly identified and exploited vulnerability, known as CVE 2025-53770 and referred to as Toolshell, in its catalog of known vulnerabilities. Microsoft has issued detailed guidance to help users understand and mitigate the risks associated with the exploitation of vulnerabilities in SharePoint.
One more drop in the ocean of AI, Hydream AI's Hydream E11. Hydream E1 is an image editing model built on Hydream i1.